And I'm talking about H.R. 2133, Section 7. So I'd like to visit with Mr. Astrada for just a moment. Mr. Astrada, does making the requirement one of intentionality to have a cause of action, does that in some way decrease the harm that's caused when one is discriminated against?
That particular question, absolutely not. It doesn't decrease the harm caused just because it was intentional or in effect rather than in intent.
And does it benefit the people who are discriminated against to require intentionality?
No, in fact, I would say it puts a barrier toward equity.
Do you find that discrimination exists in banking?
Yes, I mean, there's a long history of not only discrimination in the marketplace, but through federal government programs with FHFA and redlining. So I think there's more than enough evidence on both the industry and government side to show that.
When you balance the benefits with the liabilities associated with this, do the liabilities of doing this outweigh the benefits such that it's just not a good thing to do for people who are being harmed?
I'd agree with that, but I would reframe that. I think that it's a privilege to look at racism in a cost-benefit analysis. I think if you're the victim of racism and discrimination, you don't have the privilege of saying, you know, what is my feelings compared to your data collection efforts. So I would think that, especially around the issue of disparate impact, which has been upheld in the housing discrimination cases with the Supreme Court, employment cases all the way back to 1970, that racism is not a cost-benefit question. So while we want to be supportive of industry and be mindful of the cost that it would take to collect data to root out systemic discrimination, I think that having the privilege to say what's the cost-benefit of racism versus how much I have to pay to collect that data is a very dangerous way to approach the problem.
Thank you for your very thoughtful response. I would just end with this. If you haven't known the pain of discrimination, it can be difficult for you to appreciate my commentary.